our home, the brewery of Heineken. My name is Maria, and my colleague that's serving beer is Belle. So say hi, Belle.
Hi.
And the skipper of the day is the very experienced and amazing Jan. So as well, say hi.
Hi.
Great. Now, first, I want to ask you, how was the experience? Yes. How was the beer?
Yes.
How's life? Yeah, vacation, nice. Okay, so first we're going to start by playing a couple of games. I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to give me the answers. And when this happens, you're going to get a prize. Okay, guys, so first question. Who can tell me the 4 ingredients that make our Heineken? And hops, amazing. Who can tell me the ingredients that make our Heinekens golden? Barley. Who can tell me the ingredient that gives the bitter aftertaste of our Heineken? Who can tell me the ingredient that gives the bubbles of our Heineken? Ingredient. No, not. Who can tell me? Now, harder question. Who can tell me which year was the brewery founded? Which year? 19. Not 19 at all.
1883. 87.
Who can tell me, last question guys, who can tell me the 3 names of the founding father of our brewery? Don't tell me Mr. Heineken, that's cheating. Amsterdam, and it's because it's made by the same architect. So he wanted to connect the north of the Centraal and the south of Rijksmuseum. The fun fact is that Amsterdam is Rijksmuseum. It's a very big and amazing museum, so we definitely recommend you to go there. And the thing is that the most famous painting, it's the Night Watch by Rembrandt van Rijn. And the fun fact is that there is a tunnel in the middle where people can cycle and walk. So the Night Watch is positioned exactly there. So in a case of evacuation, they can quickly take it out and save it because it's a national heritage. On the other side of Rijksmuseum, there it's museum line. That means that there is the whole square with museums. That's the dense area with museums in the world, because there is Van Gogh Museum, Nederland Museum, Mokko Museum, and many more. So it's up to you to go and enjoy there. On here, on my left, you can see the villas, and these villas cost a fortune and a half even. They're more than, most of them are more than 10 million euros. And some of them are owned by tax lawyers. What a coincidence. Others are split between rich families. And so this one, for example, is owned by the Prince of the Netherlands. So when he was studying here, he was also living here. And here, next to the biggest house in Amsterdam, as a way of protest, they made the smallest one, which is right here. It's actually registered. It has its own number and mailbox, so if you want, you can send letters. Right here, it's a church. It used to be a church. It used to be a church. Right now, it's a nightclub where they serve Heineken. That's Paradiso. It's an international venue for concerts and music festivals, so feel free to come. Made it coffee shop. It was a joke. Everyone was like, no, that can't be true. But it was absolutely true, and it's still there on Light Supply. And right here behind these buildings, it's the other big plane, which is Rembrandtsplein. And again, there is, for example, another big music venue such as Melkweg, which in Dutch means the Milky Way. Because it used to be the milk, like a milk factory. we are turning right now to another canal. I want to ask you, does anyone know how deep are these canals? 3 meters, exactly. And Dutchies usually joke that it's 1 meter of water, 1 meter of mud, and 1 meter of bicycles. And that's because usually every year more than 10,000 bikes are taken out of the waters. And some of them are accidents, some of them are people who are curious to try to see how deep is the water, some of them are vandalism. But in general, in Amsterdam, we have twice as many bikes as people. For example, I have 2 bikes, even though I can only bike one at a time. But it happens because bikes are very cheap, because they steal them, then they resell them, and then you forget to load it, they steal it again, then you have to buy a stolen bike. So it's a whole circular economy, you know, while this topics. You just contribute to it. But it's not only cars that end up in the water, it's also cars. Because as you can see, there is nothing to protect the cars from falling. And people who can't really drive very well or park very well, they usually end up in the water. So from time to time, we hear about Tesla being found in the water, and yeah, that's funny for us, but it's quite sad for them. Because if you fall into the canal, there is only 2 ways out. Number 1, you call for help, and then that's kind of gonna cost you around 10K because it's a rescue mission. But if you fall into the canal and you just calmly sit on the top of your car, it's gonna cost you nothing because you're in the international waters, and that's a national rescue mission. So they have to sell you.
Did anyone try to get in there?
No, why are they? What are they doing? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not aware of that. So here, getting out of the bridge, I want you all to look up and tell me 3 things that you notice about the Dutch unique housing. 3 things. Brown.
Terrace.
Okay, so the facade is very interesting because, as you can see, the facade doesn't really serve as functional. It doesn't have any function, but instead it's aesthetically pleasing. And before, they didn't used to use any city of merchandisers and tradesmen, and here were the ones who were the most successful and rich ones. So usually how the taxing system used to work was they were estimating the taxes based on the width of the house that's taking up of the main street. That's why the Dutch houses are very narrow, and instead they're very long and tall because they didn't want to pay taxes. But on that street in the Gentleman's Canal, there's so many white houses because here the people who live, they were quite rich. And I want you to notice something interesting, which is this staircase. And it's very difficult to see staircases that have 2 sides leading to the same door. It's number 666. And that's the mayor's house. So every time that the mayor is at home, the flag is there. However, right now you see no flag, no mayor. That means that there's more important business to be held. Since 2018, the mayor of Amsterdam, it's a woman for the first time. And she's been working a lot on changing the image of Amsterdam because, as you know, Amsterdam, everyone's like, oh yeah, drugs, and everything forbidden here, it's allowed. And that's not very pleasant for Amsterdam people who actually live here. Therefore, she's working on some legislation to make the city livable for the people as well, not only for the tourists. And that's how, for example, on the red light district, you're not allowed to smoke anymore, and no weed is allowed. And as we are approaching, there is a unique photo opportunity on the left, your right. because there's 7 bridges aligning perfectly with each other in perspective. That's an amazing picture that you can take. Normally the tour goes straight, but today the waters are quite high, so we can't really go through this canal, so we have to take the other canal. So you'll be able to enjoy the 7 bridges even more closely because you're gonna pass through all of them. Take out your phones, catch that picture, show your friends. Guys, please keep your hands inside because everything is very short and narrow here and we don't want you to get hurt. Also, no smoking on the boat.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking it's the bar.
Okay guys, so now I want you to look around because you are experiencing the boat housing in Amsterdam. You can notice here on your right the boats that look like boats but are actually houses people build up and houses that are just like this on your left, which is literally a floating house. So the thing is that these houses, believe it or not, start costing from 800,000 euros to 2-3 millions because they only have the ones that are already built, so they're not allowed to make any more floating housing. Therefore, they have a limited amount of 2,000 floating housing, and everyone who wants to resell it resells it for a very, very, very high price, even though it's just a small boat. And the thing is that when they started doing this float housing, they did not have to pay any tax because technically they're not taking anything from the street of the Amsterdam, but they're just using international water, right? However, now it's a bit of a different situation. And on the top of the 2-3 millions that they have to pay for the boat, they also pay taxes. If you want to stay, there is many Airbnb floating housing, so you don't have to buy it. You can just spend some money and enjoy a couple of days there.
Have you finished?
İşte bizim bank.
Benziyor.
Aynı noktaya koymuşlar bakıyorsun.
And see 2 things. Number 1, it's the red building, which is the National Opera and Ballet, which is officially claimed as the ugliest building in Amsterdam. And people were protesting so much against it. They were saying stop the opera because it's ugly, so they start calling it Stopera. Second thing, it's this bridge. It's the skinny bridge. And the story goes that there was 2 sisters, one living on this shore and one on this one. And they were so tired of going around every day to see each other, so they decided to build this bridge. So the story also tells that everyone who kisses their lover under the bridge, the love is gonna last forever. Cleaning the water. And the one right here, right now, it's an Airbnb that you can come and sleep in for the humble price of 1,000 euros per night. The only way in and out is by boat, and the croissant, and the host might even bring a croissant, because, you know, for 1,000 euros, why not? Let's be nice. But in fact, would you swim in the waters here? No? Well, Amsterdam people do swim into the canal waters. Even the Queen of the Netherlands swims once per year in the water. So just tell you that every week they clean the water at least once. They really care about the image of the water. And right here behind me, you can see the symbol of Amsterdam, which is these 3 crosses and the crown on the top. The 3 crosses represent the 3 of the worst things that can happen to Amsterdam. Number 1, water. For obvious reasons, Amsterdam's altitude is -1, so the water is still to an extent considered a threat. Number 2, it's fire, because the housing it's mostly wooden, and also the houses are stick to each other. So if there is a fire in one of the houses, the whole neighborhood can burn. Number 3 used to be the plague, and the crown on the top protects the people last year. And the apartment on top right, it's Mick Jagger. So sometimes the Stones come here to chill. Maybe once a year, you know, they can afford it. And we're coming to my favorite part of the tour. So I want you to notice this boat, and it seems a bit tiny and not very special, but in fact, if you fall into the canals, that's gonna be the boat that's gonna come and save you. So then you might think, Maria, that's not very feasible. Why would I fall into the canals? Maybe not you, but you will be surprised how often people fall into the canals. Because, you know, they come here, tourists, let's get drunk, let's get high on everything we find in Amsterdam, let's go party. Then they go out. As you can see, some of them are very pretty, some of them are really not nice. But they still cost $1 million or $2 million. And I wanna ask, has anyone watched Money Heist? La Casa de Papel? Yeah? So, you know, the whole story revolves around about being under the water of the National Bank. Well, the idea of that they took from the National Dutch Bank, which is right this building. And the vault with all the national gold is under the waters. So if there is a threat of a heist, the whole vault is gonna get filled with water, so everything is gonna die inside and no one's gonna be able to steal anything. The alarm was actually triggered once. But don't worry, it was nothing, it was just a rat. Because jokes or not, Amsterdam really has a lot of rats and mice since the city is very low. And guys, in a couple of minutes, we're gonna be right back where we started, at our home, Heineken Brewery. So if you like any more drinks, that's the last call to take, because unfortunately I cannot allow you to leave the boat with a beer in hand, because in Amsterdam, it's not allowed to publicly drink, it's only allowed to publicly smoke weed.
Is it mostly like just English speakers in Amsterdam?